Ingersoll's oration at a child's grave. From the Chicago Tribune, January 13, 1882. Washington, D.C., January 9th. In a remote corner of the Congressional Cemetery yesterday afternoon, a small group of people with uncovered heads were ranged around a newly opened grave. They included Detective and Mrs. George O. Miller and family and friends who had gathered to witness the burial of the former's bright little son, Harry, a recent victim of diphtheria. As the casket rested upon the trestles, there was a painful pause, broken only by the mother's sobs, until the undertaker advanced towards a stout, florid-complexioned gentleman in the party and whispered to him the words, being inaudible to the looker-on. The gentleman was Colonel Robert G. Ingersoll, a friend of the Millers, who had attended the funeral at their request. He shook his head when the undertaker first addressed him, and then said suddenly, "Does Mrs. Miller desire it?" The undertaker gave an affirmative nod. Mr. Miller looked appealingly toward the distinguished orator, and then Colonel Ingersoll advanced to the side of the grave, made a motion denoting a desire for silence, and, in a voice of exquisite cadence, delivered one of his characteristic eulogies for the dead. The scene was intrinsically dramatic. A fine drizzling rain was falling, and every head was bent, and every ear turned to catch the impassioned words of eloquence and hope that fell from the lips of the famed orator. Colonel Ingersoll was unprotected by either hat or umbrella, and his invocation thrilled his hearers with awe. Each eye that had previously been bedimmed with tears, brightening, and sobs became hushed. The colonel said,
"My friends, I know how vain it is to gild a grief with words, but I wish to take from every grave its fear. Here in this world where life and death are equal kings, all should be brave enough to meet what all have met. The future has been filled with fear, stained and polluted by the heartless past. Here in this world where life and death are equal kings, gotta start over.